Good morning to you, friend, and welcome back to the Morning Minute Meditation. The Apostle Paul in the book of Colossians made this statement, chapter 4, verse 6. He said, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer every man." That you may know how you ought to answer every man. If I were going to put that in our vernacular, I would say you need to learn how to talk to people. I have been asked this question numerous times. They say, "Brother Andy, how do you say the things that you say and get by with it?" The truth is, I address some very sensitive topics at times and am able to say what I say, and it is received. And my answer is, it's not what you say, it's how you say what you say. In Haddon Robinson's book on biblical preaching, he was quoting a psychologist. And the psychologist, you'll have to forgive me his name because I cannot pronounce it, but his first name was Albert. The psychologist, Albert, said this, that when people are listening to a speaker, 77% of those that were surveyed said that they are most moved by the content of what the man is saying. Now, in this survey, they were able to answer multiple questions as to their preferences. So 77% said, "I want to hear content." 38% said that their reception of the message springs from the name of the individual, the clout, reputation of the individual making the statements. And then they said also that 55% said that facial expression and the way that what is said really appeals to them. And so it is very important we realize that. Several years ago, I knew of a preacher who went into a meeting. It was one of these emotionally charged events. And he got in the pulpit, and in his inimitable way, he had a marvelous style that was excitable. He began to preach, and for about 10 minutes, he preached literal heresy. He twisted scriptures and doctrines around for 10 minutes. And as he did, the crowd hooped and hollered and jumped to their feet and waved their hands in affirmation and appreciation as well as agreement with what he was saying. After about 10 minutes, he stopped and began to speak quietly and silently the things that he had already said, and they were aghast that what he had said was absolute heresy, and yet they had responded to it. Why? Because they liked the way it was said. So there are two things we need to tie together. We need to speak the truth in love, yet at the same time have a way of speaking the truth that is unabrasive. Now, some truths are always going to be abrasive, but sometimes I know of folks who just like to be abrasive. I would rather get my message across than feel the bravado and machismo of being a great big bad guy. Hey, think on these things today, and have a great day.